It's said that power corrupts, and that absolute power corrupts absolutely. But Marcus Aurelius, 121 AD to 180 AD, is irrefutable proof that this is not always the case. As head of the Roman Empire, he had supreme authority over an empire which stretched from northern Europe to the Middle East. He could have anyone exiled or executed on his orders. But Marcus is remembered for being a virtuous and wise emperor. He ruled fairly, despite the obvious temptations of his position, and remained calm and collected, though the empire was being ravaged by wars and plagues. How did he manage it? He's probably the most famous of all the ancient Stoic philosophers. His reign as emperor was a time of great uncertainty and upheaval. He used the philosophy to maintain his tranquility and virtue during these troubled times. Each evening he would write down his Stoic formulations in a journal for his own reflection, with the aim of improving himself. He intended this diary only ever to be read by himself. He'd ordered that it should be destroyed after his death. Thankfully, it wasn't, and his advice for living a good life using Stoicism has miraculously survived to this day. His ideas are incredibly useful for dealing with the trials and tribulations thrown at us in everyday life, but they're especially helpful in times of crisis. In this video, I want to show you how the ideas of Marcus Aurelius can help you cope with, or even thrive, in difficult times. Of course, nobody asks for trouble. Circumstances are thrust upon us, and we can't escape them. But even when there's nothing we can do about the situation, we need not despair, because we still have control of our attitudes towards what's going on. Marcus Aurelius said, and I quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realise this, and you'll find strength." So according to him, everything depends on how we react to the situation that we find ourselves in. The Stoics recommended that we welcome, even embrace, everything that happens to us. This has got its own name in Latin, amor fati, the love of one's fate. Welcoming what happens to you means that you won't be wasting time riling against that over which you've got no control. By accepting what's happening, you can focus on finding a way of turning the situation to your own advantage. This is possible even in seemingly terrible situations. Sometimes outside events can affect our lives dramatically. For example, the restrictions enforced due to the global pandemic of a deadly virus. If you're stuck at home under lockdown, you can't control that. But if you accept what's going on, you can focus on turning the situation to your advantage. Having all that extra time at home could mean the chance to start those things you've been meaning to do, but had never got round to. Maybe you've always wanted to study a foreign language, or take up a musical instrument. Now would be a great time to start. The point is that rather than feeling frustrated and bored, you can accept what's happening and focus only on that which you can control. In this case, what are you going to do with all this extra time at home? You might think, with the goal of finding tranquility, that being stoic means to hide yourself away somewhere to avoid all the stresses and strains of life. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The Stoics thought that humans should act in accordance with their nature. They observed that we're naturally social animals, and so should all play an active role in society. Whatever our station in life, from emperor to humble subject, we've all got our part to play. In times of crisis, it's especially important to act in a way which helps everybody. Thinking just of our own self-interests, whether through selfishness, fear, or panic, will just make matters worse for everyone. Marcus Aurelius would say that we should act responsibly, think about others, do our duty, whether that's on the front line, in high command, or in the serried ranks under lockdown. To sum up, Stoic philosophy is designed to bring tranquility, even in the most testing of times. In fact, the more testing the times, the more useful Stoic practices are. By accepting the situation for what it is and focusing on what we can control, helps us not only survive hard times, but actually thrive in them. If you like this video, please hit the like icon and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for listening.